Bom dia, caralho. Hoje nós iremos jogar um jogo.
Hello. Do you want to play a game?
Um jogo chamado TheStanleyParable. É um jogo onde a gente interage com a porra de um narrador. Isso aí. Foda-se a lógica. Só é isso. Eu sou o Witterboss. Eu acho que você aprendeu com a porra do último vídeo que esse é o nome do canal. Você tem que entender que sou eu também. E tamo junto. Vamos pro vídeo. Perfeitamente. Você está jogando TheStanleyParable. Eu acho que é isso que nós queremos mesmo. Aqui tá mostrando a tela do PC. É o Action que tá aqui em cima, tá bom? Vocês podem ignorar isso aí, é o gravador. Se vocês não estiverem vendo, eu vou ficar muito triste, inclusive. Porque eu tô parecendo esquizofrênico, mas beleza. Vamos play essa porra. Deixa eu só ver uma coisa. Áudio. Legenda. Apenas legendado. Closed caption, os dois. Apenas legenda, foda-se. Vamos lá, contanto que eu entendo o que tô falando. Tá beleza. Let's play. Loading. Como eu amo a minha vida.
This is the story of a man named Stanley.
Vejamos.
Stanley worked for a company in a big building where he was employee number 427. Employee number 427's job was simple. He sat at his desk in room 427 and he pushed buttons on a keyboard. Orders came to him through a monitor on his desk, telling him what buttons to push, how long to push them, and in what order. This is what employee 427 did every day, every month of every year. And although others might have considered it soul-winning, Stanley relished every moment that the orders came in, as though he had been made exactly for this. Stanley
Isso é legal.
was happy.
Stanley é feliz, né? Eu acho que é importante ter
And
saúde,
then
né?
one day, something very peculiar happened.
Ah,
Something
moleque.
that would forever change Stanley. Something he would never quite forget. He had been at his desk for nearly an hour when he realized that not one single order had arrived on the monitor for him to follow. No one had showed up to give him instructions, call a meeting, or even say hi. Never in all his years at the company had this happened, this complete isolation. Something was very clearly wrong. Shocked, frozen solid, Stanley found himself unable to move for the longest time. But as he came to his wits and regained his senses, he got up from his
Opa.
desk and stepped out of his office.
Tudo bem, né? Vamos ver que porra é essa. Tá, o PCzinho. Dá pra dar uma olhada aqui. Tá, faz barulho de teclado. Não, só dessas teclas, tudo bem. Vamos ver o que dá pra fazer aqui.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
Tá.
No matter how hard Stanley looked, he couldn't find a trace of his co-workers.
Desliguei o PC aqui, não sei não, hein. Eita porra. Sim, é o bugzinho, eu aprendi o bugzinho. Ó, dá pra sair aqui. Mas não vou fazer isso pra não estragar a porra da gameplay, né? Daí você fica ali, tem o diálogo ali, ó. Com certeza, né? Que é ali. Era ali mesmo. Você vai desligando os PCzinhos, vai jogando aqui. Deixa eu ver, não tem ninguém pra lá, ninguém pra cá, ninguém pra puta que pariu nenhum. Então bora, né? Tá.
When Stanley came to a set of two open doors, he entered the door on his left.
Tudo bem, olha, dessa vez eu vou obedecer tudo no narrador, vamos chegar no final certinho. Depois eu gravo outro vídeo desobedecendo essa porra pra gente ver os outros diálogos. Left, né? Ok, aqui é
Yet
left.
there was not a single person here either. Feeling a wave of disbelief, Stanley decided to go up to his boss's office, hoping he might find an answer there.
Ah, se não tem ninguém aqui, que tá passando essa porra dessa cidade? Opa. Ah, tudo bem, dá pra explorar aqui.
Stanley stepped into the broom closet, but there was nothing here, so he turned around and got back on track.
É, realmente não tem porra nenhuma aqui, então só vamos.
Coming to a staircase, Stanley walked upstairs to his boss's
Subiu,
office.
subiu, então é pra cima, né? Eu acho que subir é pra cima. Subir, se você conseguir subir pra baixo. Pera aí. É, não tem porra nenhuma aí, não dá pra ir. Ah. Não, é. Caralho, meu chefe vive no luxo aqui. É o banheiro executivo. Eu queria dar uma cagada, soltar um barra aqui nessa porra. O que eu tenho que fazer aqui? Tem que ir pra cá? Não, não tem que ir pra cá. Eu acho que eu tenho que ir pra porra da porta aberta, né, Witter? Seu retardado.
Stepping into his manager's office, Stanley was once again stunned to discover not an indication of any human life. Shocked, unraveled, Stanley wondered in disbelief who orchestrated this, what dark secret was being held from him. What he could not have known was that the keypad behind the boss's desk guarded the terrible truth that his boss had been keeping from him. And so the boss had assigned it an extra secret PIN number, 2845. But of course,
Onde é que
Stanley
tem a
couldn't
porra do
possibly
teclado?
have
Ah, tá
known
aqui.
this.
Five, caralho.
Yet incredibly, by simply pushing random buttons on the keypad, Stanley happened to input the correct code by sheer luck. Amazing. He stepped into the newly opened passageway.
Tudo bem. É, não tem outro lugar pra ir. É ali mesmo. Nossa, ao invés de eu ir na porra do óbvio, eu fico caçando confusão em outro lugar. Sou retardado, é foda. Tá, bora. Load. Não vou cortar as telas de load, porque eu sei que load é importante. Quem não gosta de ficar carregando?
Descending deeper into the building, Stanley realized he felt a bit peculiar. It was a stirring of emotion in his chest, as though he felt more free to think for himself, to question the nature of his job. Why did he feel this now, when for years it had never occurred to him? This question would not go unanswered for long.
Tudo bem, né?
Stanley walked straight ahead through the large door that read Mind Control Facility.
Eu vou obedecer o cara. Nessa jogatina eu obedeço o cara. Turidamente, bora. Eu tenho que apertar essa porra. Eu sou obrigado, tá? Então foda-se, bora.
The lights rose on an enormous room packed with television screens. What horrible secret did this place hold? Stanley thought to himself. Did he have the strength to find out?
Tá, eu sei que... Tudo bem, eu posso ir pra cá. Vai no óbvio, Witter, vai no óbvio. Tudo bem, vai, liga essa bosta. Você já sabe o que você tem que fazer.
Now the monitors jumped to life, their true nature revealed. Each bore the number of an employee in the building, Stanley's co-workers. The lives of so many individuals reduced to images on a screen, and Stanley, one of them, eternally monitored in this place where freedom meant nothing.
Ah, mas... Bacana, né? Qual que era a sala do Stan mesmo? É 400? É aquela ali, ó. Eu acho. Não, não é não. Ah, foda-se também.
This mind control facility, it was too horrible to believe. It couldn't be true. Had
Olha lá, alguém
Stanley
foi
been under
demitido.
someone's control all this time? Was this the only reason he was happy with his boring job? That his emotions had been manipulated to accept it blindly?
Ah, não, beleza, tamo junto.
No.
Vamos subir nessa porra de
He
elevador.
refused to believe it. He couldn't accept it. His own life in someone else's control? Never. It was unthinkable. Wasn't it? Was it even possible? Had he truly spent his entire life utterly blind to the world? But here was the proof. The heart of the operation. Controls labeled with emotions. Happy, or sad, or content. Walking, eating, working. All of it monitored and commanded from this very place. And as the cold reality of his past began to sink in, Stanley decided that this machinery would never again exert its terrible power over another human life. For he would dismantle the controls once and for all.
Tá, eu tenho que desativar essa bosta. Só tô perdido aqui. Porque sim. Porra. Deixa eu só ver uma coisinha aqui. O que isso aqui faz? Ah, faz porra nenhuma. Aquilo é um quadro? Ou é uma câmera? É um quadro. Ah, não vou nem apertar. Não vou nem ir lá perder meu tempo, tá ligado? Vamos lá, vamos desativar essa bosta. Vou ativar.
And when at last he found the source of the room's power, he knew it was his duty, his obligation, to put an end to this horrible place and to everything it stood for.
Tudo bem, então bora.
Gladness and a rising chill of uncertainty.
Beleza.
Was it over? Yes. He had won. He had defeated the machine, unshackled himself from someone else's command. Freedom was mere moments away.
Beleza.
Even as the immense door slowly opened, Stanley reflected on how many puzzles still lay unsolved. Where had his co-workers gone? How had he been freed from the machine's grasp? What other mysteries did this strange building hold? But as sunlight streamed into the chamber, he realized none of this mattered to him, for it was not knowledge or even power that he had been seeking, but happiness. Perhaps his goal had not been to understand, but to let go.
Caralho, eu fiquei aqui que nem um retardado, velho, me mexer aqui.
What to do,
Beleza.
or how to feel. Whatever life he lives,
E lá.
it will be his. And that was all he needed to know. It was perhaps the only thing worth knowing. Stanley stepped through the open door.
Pra fora da escuridão, né?
Stanley felt the cool breeze upon his skin, the feeling of liberation, the immense possibility of the new path before him. This was exactly the way, right now, that things were meant to happen. And Stanley was happy.
Perfeitamente, ó. Brilhoso. Foi isso, minha gente, porque assim, eu vou gravar mais, eu vou fazer outras rotas. Inclusive assim que eu acabar esse porra desse vídeo, eu vou fazer outra rota. É, isso aí, não tem outra coisa pra fazer. Eu vou fazer outra rota porque eu sou maluco. Tamo junto, valeu, falou, fui.